Brendan the Badman Stickle, and you're watching XCW Recall.
Welcome back to another episode of Recall. I'm your host, VENOM. In today's episode, we're talking about none other than Brendan the Badman Stickle. Brendan the Badman Stickle would go on to face James Cerebral at Midwinter 2018 for the International Championship and even win. You know, some people may ask me, hey, what about his other first title reign? You know, 2003 we didn't have footage. There's no footage of him winning that title. So, we got the next best thing, and we'll give you this. Let's go on and watch it with Brendan.
Alright, so here we go. We're only about a year or so into your return run after returning to XCW at Reunion.
Yeah.
And you're going to win your first singles championship since probably 2003. When you won a Cruiserweight Championship. So what did this title win mean for you in regards of it being such a long time in between championship runs?
So, personally, I saw it as like I knew that I had been in XCW, I had another Summer Mania, but it was kind of like a reintroduction. It was first title win since I've been back. Like, it was like a 15-year gap at this point. And it's the first time that I felt like it was a solid enough run. Like, it was validation.
How different is this run compared to your 2012 run when you were with Austin Chaos?
I'm quite a bit taller. So this run here was, if my knowledge remembers, was just about as long as my run with Austin Chaos, with the tag team championships there. But I liked this one, of course, meant more to me because it was me doing it by myself, on my own, and I felt like the tag team championship run was a lot based on everything that Austin had already built up in the Canadian forces, and I was kind of along for the ride. Whereas this one, I felt like I was in the driver's seat.
James Cerebral, I assume this would have been one of the very first times, if not the first time, that you and James Cerebral had a program to work together. How was it working with James Cerebral?
Whenever people say that it is like one of the easiest people to work with, James Cerebral's close to there. As far as in-ring and promo work, he's really easy to feed off of. He goes with the flow. If you decide, like, leading in the match or whatever can sometimes be a hassle. For instance, in this match, I believe I led for most of it, and Cerebral just went along with it, and we just tried to make it the most entertaining and best match that we could. For the International, it's a championship that means a lot to both of us and means a lot to the company as a whole, and it's...
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in this run, you come back and go straight for what people consider the second biggest championship in XCW. And, I mean, you pretty much just skipped right over the hardcore title and the New Age Championship. You later have a New Age Championship run. How did that differ from the International title?
So, with this run here with the International, it was earlier in my resurgence, and I would say that this run here was I used to build myself and the character and the heel of Brendan the Badman Stickle. But the New Age Championship at that point, it was more of we need to get other people over. It was a bridging point in the championship's history.
In a way, you kind of gave a little bit of a reboost to the New Age Championship. You know, Chris Jones had a small run, and I think Hazard had maybe a small run, but really, like, when people start talking about the lineage of a New Age Championship, they start talking about you and ACT, and then ACT and Void, like, you guys kind of were trendsetters of making the New Age Championship as credible as it is now.
Yeah, myself and ACT, I felt like, especially with the New Age Championship run, it was some matches that weren't the greatest, and I think both of us will admit that with him coming in new or whatever. But I felt like the promo work and stuff is what really propelled that run in particular, and it was a good set because I feel like they're both two good characters, and myself and ACT, and we can both talk a lot of shit to each other. So
anything particular in this match stand out to you as hurting a little extra? Or, James Struvel's got a very unique move set as well, with the leg drops and the elbow drops. I know from experience that James Struvel works pretty light, but
there wasn't much. I know whenever we get towards the finish or whatever, there's me chucking away a cinder block solely because I did not want to deal with that, and the damage that can cause. It's something that I hadn't experienced and I wasn't quite ready for.
Yeah, and this match was a first blood match, so anything's legal at this point. There's no pinfalls. Do you think that was to your advantage, having a first blood match? Especially with your character being the heel in this situation.
100%. Like, I'm looking at this right now, and I'm working on the ankle trying to keep him down, but also thinking, if I can just slice right here, it's over on the cheapest margin of victory ever. But it doesn't matter,
Was this your first experience with First Blood?
This was the first blood. I believe this was the first blood of any sort experience for me, and there's some definite things that I would like to change, and some things that I feel like could be improved upon if there wasn't, if I did have more experience in a first blood. Like, obviously, probably wouldn't have thrown the cinder block out. That's a very useful thing, but maybe just get into a few more weapons.
Well, James Struvel just can't keep that cinder block out of the match, so.
Yeah, and at this point I realized that there's no point in fighting it. As far as anything that particularly hurt, though, going back to that question, I didn't really notice it at the time, like adrenaline running through, but I do remember coming out, and I believe it was my knee was a little sore, but it was nothing that wasn't like time and...
At least it wasn't your World Championship run where you could barely walk.
Right, little training mishap, and a world title run starts on 1 foot, and some R&R to get that back to normal. Luckily, though, I think it was not too bad resurrected.
Nice little sequence there that I don't think you pulled out too much.
I didn't. So that original move, it's supposed to be a springboard back elbow, and that particular sequence there, looking back, it's a little choppy, him hitting the corner and coming back into it. I just had a little bit of an issue with the way that I was bouncing and things like that.
You're always more critical, I think, of your matches than anyone else in the company, so...
harshest critic should always be yourself. There's some things looking back, that I definitely could always see improvements on, and I honestly think that what makes good talent is being able to be critical of yourself. Because honestly, if you think that you have the worst match, if you're the one that thinks your match was the worst out of everybody that's around, you're going to do more in order to change it. You're not going to rely on other people.
The referee is down.
That is kind of a bad man's specialty. Should wait for me to try to take advantage of it. See?
Kind of unique. Earlier in the season, we sat down with Brady Branson, who won his first international championship, his first singles championship against you. It's funny, I mentioned that who would have thought, you guys would be trading championships in 2018. Fast forward a few years and you guys are roommates.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I mean, originally we even had Evan Phoenix in the apartment with us, and it really, us becoming roommates was just out of necessity for everybody.
And there's the blood. With the referees down.
Hey, busted mouth means nothing if the ref's down. See, look. James Cerebral needs to stay on top of things here.
Uh-oh, here it is. Oh my God.
He ate that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See, look, now's going to be the perfect time, ref. Come on.
In my opinion, this was a genius finish. It didn't hurt Cerebral at all to take the L on the title. And you rolled out new champ.
Hey, he clearly bled more. I mean, if the ref can't see it and there's 2 bleeds, the one who bleeds more should lost. I feel like this is a fair win.
A genius way to win the international championship. So after all these years, you get to sit down and recall this match. What do you think?
Execution of the plan was pretty great. I think execution of the match had some flaws, but of course, as you mentioned earlier, I'm always going to be the biggest critic. It's always nice to look back and reminisce on what it used to be, getting larger in the company and becoming more of a character. And of course, yeah,
the Nathan Van Diver attack right after, too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good way to close the storyline and start something anew,
Anything you change? Or are you happy with your first championship singles win being the international championship?
I was really happy with it. I remember the Mr. Summer Mania Cup challenge that I had. I actually foregoed the opportunity to go for the world and went for the international. It's what I wanted at the time, and looking back, it was the nice stepping stone that I needed in order to improve.
You guys could see right there, Brendan would go on to win the international title. Within a year, Brendan would go on to even win a world championship. But as it all ends right here on this season of Recall, we've had a crazy Tommy Merriman, we've had Hazard, we've had Psych War, and we've had many legends already. But, this is the end of this season. But see you on the next one.